Okay, good morning to the new faces in the room. We're moving on to our second presentation of the morning, which is for FIBA, and they've looked at how to enhance the spectator experience across the portfolio enhanced at FIBA. I'm very pleased to welcome from the Federation, Jill Cruz. He's the Sport and Competitions Senior Associate. Thank you very much for being here. A very warm welcome to you. Guys, if you're ready, the floor is yours. Thank you.
And now, presenting you FIBA team project members. 5'3" point guard from South Korea, Yubi Jung. 6'2" center from Brazil, Roberto. 6'4" from Canada, John. 5'9" guard from Iran, Indiana.
What's your most memorable real-life experience? Do you remember your last outstanding life experience? What was so memorable about it? Give it a thought. For real, think about it for a moment. Do you remember any? Whenever someone is using a service, it can be a restaurant, a hotel, or even just buying something online, there's an experience behind it. And this can be also applied to sport events. Event organizers, they strive to provide a positive experience that goes way beyond an athlete's performance. And that's exactly what we'll be talking about here today. How to improve live spectator experience.
So, what was the mission and the goals of this project? Well, FIBA wanted to enhance the overall spectator experience at events that they organized. This was to be conducted through the enhancement and expansion of current initiatives, as well as the implementation of new initiatives at their events. FIBA wanted to add value to their spectators, individuals who pay money to attend their events, and they wanted to add value to this opportunity that they had. So, if we talk about spectator experience, what are some influencing factors? Well, obviously, we have game performance, which relates to the competition that occurs on the field of play, although it's not always controlled by those who organize the events. Also, we can talk about service delivery. So this is anyone that a spectator interacts with when they're at a sporting event or in an arena. It can be staff, security, even concession stands. Finally, spectator interaction. And with this, we're specifically talking about inter-spectator communication, interactions, and the relationships that they form with each other, both before, during, and following these events. So let's talk specifically about the scope of our project. FIBA wanted to focus on live events. So we define that as the moment that a spectator who purchased a ticket arrives at an arena until the time when they leave the arena following the game. As a frame of reference for our recommendations, we use the 2019 Basketball World Cup that's going to happen in August in China. Now, although we focused our recommendations and we planned our implementation plans specifically for this event, it doesn't necessarily mean that our recommendations won't apply to other events that are organized by FIBA as well. Finally, we focused specifically on FIBA identity. FIBA wasn't interested in comparing themselves to competitors in the sense that for the purpose of our implementation plans, we wanted to focus exactly on the identity that FIBA wanted to define themselves with.
So, first we need to know who are FIBA basketball fans. Compared to other sports like football, FIBA basketball fans are more gender balanced, 44% female and 56% male. Second is that the age, which FIBA basketball fans, compared to other sports fans investigated, such as football, Formula One, golf, and tennis, they have a younger audience. And at the end, FIBA is also looking to their secondary audience. Secondary audience are the people who follow the game at some level, but there's not necessarily avid followers of international basketball. They engage frequently, but clearly show amplification opportunities.
Then let's talk about our project in detail for project tip-off. So firstly, we conducted SWOT analysis of past two FIBA Basketball World Cup, which took place in Turkey in 2010 and Spain in 2014. And we additionally looked at the recent FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers as well. This SWOT analysis was used for our better understanding on how the current spectator engagement activities are currently being carried out at FIBA organized events. And this was really helpful for us to have clear target on what aspects of the events that we should focus on while doing our research, and to develop efficient strategy in assessing the activities in the events. Then we conducted in-depth case studies on 34 different events. And these 34 events are made up of 70% of sporting events and 30% of other entertainment events, such as music festivals or theater events. And as part of our case studies, 4 were conducted in person. One was the World Archery Tournament in Nîmes, SBL Cup and ITTF Europe Top 16 Cup in Montreux, Patrick Baumann Swiss Cup in Bienne. And while at the Patrick Baumann Cup, we had a chance to test run one of our activities, and it was truly a really, really great opportunity for us to have the ideas and first-hand experience of both with planning and implementation. So it was really helpful for us, especially on our last phase of our team project, that we have to create detailed implementation plan for our second deliverable. So we researched 34 different events, and we analyzed over 70 different individual spectator engagement activities. And among those 70 different activities, we selected 31 activities that we thought were most applicable to FIBA events based on our SWOT analysis and our characterization of FIBA fans. And these are all our 31 activities. And with all the 31 activities, we went even deeper and explored 7 different aspects of each and every event to critically examine the applicability to FIBA events. And some of the aspects include who are the intended targeted audience, and how the activities is being used within the events, and what the potential values are. Then our research led us to separate all these 31 events into 7 different categories that you can see here on the screen, which are big screen, application, it was done to make it more easier to benchmark and to deliver comprehensive assessment to FIBA. And all these 31 activities, to better compare them, we plotted them on the cost versus benefit chart, as you can see here on the screen. So all the activities came from all the different categories. However, we find this cost-benefit chart really useful to compare all of them on the same page. And yes, costs were relatively simple to determine. However, the benefit, it was understandably hard to quantify the values of associated benefits. And the emotions and satisfactions, as you know, it's really hard to objectively measure. So it was a noted limitation of our team project. But FIBA recognized that we have researched 34 different events, over 70 different activities, which provided us a good basis to determine our own understanding of associated benefits. And all these 31 activities fell into 4 different sections on the chart, as you can see here on the screen. For example, the activities included in the intriguing possibilities, they are less costly, but they have less benefits. While the game changers, they are one of the most expensive activities that we suggested, but it comes with a highly associated benefits.
All these case studies, researches, and everything led us to our first deliverable. A single catalog of case studies to benchmark spectator engagement activities. Within this catalog, we had 31 suggested activities that we studied in depth, including the cost versus benefit chart that was our tool to measure and to being able to deliver to our client a way of comparing these activities. We delivered this catalog to our client so he could go through all of our suggestions and he could pick some of these activities so we could move on to the next phase of our project, which was the implementation phase. So FIBA selected these 7 activities that we did a deep implementation plan to be able to deliver a ready-to-use implementation catalog that FIBA would be able to implement either on the FIBA Basketball World Cup or in different FIBA events. This is our second deliverable, as I just mentioned, an operational plan manual that you can see in front of you. On this manual, you have all the 7 activities detailed on all these sections. And we really wanted to make a simple catalog so FIBA could use all these activities in every FIBA event. So today we're going to go only through 2 of these 7 activities because of time constraints. And we're going to explain to you some key aspects of each activity so you can have a good overview of these activities. We're going to speak about application and augmented reality and game ball delivery. So, game ball delivery. You may have already seen this activity in another sport event. It's becoming more and more a trend. But the interesting and engaging part is how it is done. Game ball delivery can be a highly engaging activity and can build anticipation just before the start of the match. Specifically for FIBA, our plan is to do the game ball delivery on the final match of the FIBA World Cup. As you can see, we have a drone here. It's not this one we're going to use, but just for an example. The goals of this activity: to quench intellectual thirst of FIBA spectators, to showcase the willingness of FIBA in getting together technology and entertainment. We really want FIBA to stand out from other sport events on this matter, and to create a unique atmosphere. We really believe that at this moment, just before the tip-off of the match, all spectators will be on their seats, and having a drone bringing the game ball, it will create this unique atmosphere. Elements for success. We have found in all of the 7 activities some key elements that FIBA has really to pay attention so they make sure on the good implementation of these activities. Specifically for game ball delivery, we have strategic development. We had to find a company that was able to develop a tailor-made drone that was capable of carrying a basketball, which is not easy. It's not like the lightest ball in sports. And rehearsal and timing. Rehearsal is super important because we are doing this activity only once. We are aiming to do it on the final of the FIBA World Cup. So we're not doing like 2 or 3 times. So rehearsal, we have to rehearsal as many times as possible, and timing is as well super important. Partner sponsorships. We critically analyzed all the FIBA existing partners for all the 7 activities on this catalog, so we can find companies that would be a match for each activity. Specifically for game ball delivery, we picked Molten. That is a long-term partner of FIBA, and they are the official basketball suppliers. So since the drone is bringing the game ball, we thought it was a perfect fit for this activity. And the other one, a potential partnership with FedEx because of their values and because of the service they deliver, of the delivery services, and the way that they have a relationship with their clients.
The next activity is augmented reality. This will be done through an application, and it seems like applications are doing everything for us these days. But indeed, using the right tools, it will transform a direct link to our fans. We're going to show you a very small video of an augmented reality experience in a live event. Obviously, this is not a real dragon. Everybody's looking at this activity prior to the start of the game through their phones, and they can interact, they can shoot the dragon, they can unlock gifts, get gifts for concessions, and as you can see, the timing is very important. The game is on the warm-up session, so it's still not started yet, but you can see as that they are starting to shoot and interact with the activity and with each other. So, first we go through the goals of this activity. The main goal is to collect data from our audience. This will make us know them better. Second is to increase the interactivity between them. Going through the elements of success, first is to have a proper timeline, a very detailed timeline to know when to produce it and when to put it out. A very good testing phase, so we make sure when the application and software is out is actually working, and a structured communicational plan between different stakeholders. For the next one, we will go through KPI. So key performance indicators are a measurement tool for FIBA that will understand how well the goals and the success of this activity are carried out. So for this one, it was the number of impressions on social media and the number of applications that has been downloaded.
So to talk about a few conclusions. So to wrap up Spectator experience, it's obviously multifaceted, but something that was consistent across our research was 3 main categories: interaction, innovation, and good implementation. When we talk about interaction, social events offer the opportunity for spectators to experience, belongingness, socialization, and it's a really important indicator of their overall experience. Next, we have innovation, and this speaks directly to 2 categories of FIBA fans and spectators that we previously mentioned. First, this younger generation that makes up the majority, but in addition to this, also an older, more tech-savvy spectator as well. Finally, good implementation is key, and this is something that we focused on for each of our 7 implementation plans, because we recognized through our research that the most successful spectator engagement activities were planned down to the very, very last detail. So what are some outcomes of good spectator experience? Well, first of all, of course, loyalty. If spectators are engaging and leaving your event after having a great time, they are more likely to continue to be fans, to continue to attend events. New fan base. We talked about a secondary audience. Not all spectators are fans. Not all those who attend are necessarily basketball fans. So it's a really good opportunity to capture this new audience and make them fans. And finally, legacy. Legacy FIBA, through their fan engagement initiatives, has an opportunity to create their own identity, to send a message of their choosing to those who attend their events. I'd like to end with a final thought, and the overall mission of this goal was to enhance the FIBA spectator experience at live events. And this point was always at the center of all the decisions that we made. We sincerely hope that our recommendations will be carried out at FIBA events in years to come. And with that, I guess we pass the ball off to FIBA.
Thank you very much for your excellent presentation. So we open the floor now to Q&A. So Giovanni, would you like to go first?